From a flicker of candlelight in 1789 to the glare of modern screens in the West Wing, every president has held the pen. Executive orders not passed by Congress, but etched into law by command. Some shaped history. Some sparked controversy. Others were forgotten. Until now. This is where we break them down. Every signature, every shift in power, every consequence still felt today. From Washington to Biden, welcome to Executive Order Watch.
Democracy, we live for it. For democracy, we fight for it. For democracy, we've died for it. And for democracy, we watch it. This is Executive Order Watch.
My fellow Americans, 1966. It was a year that tested the soul of this nation, and it tested mine too. I was in the thick of it, charged with leading a country that was growing, straining, and crying out for something better. We were knee-deep in the Vietnam War. The protests were getting louder. The television sets beamed the cost of combat into every American living room, and every name etched onto a casualty list, every tear shed at a kitchen table cut deep into the heart of a president. But war wasn't all we were fighting. Back home, we were in the trenches of another kind of battle, the war on poverty. The war for civil rights, the struggle to make this country not just richer, but more righteous. I governed with urgency, with purpose, with a stubborn belief that government had a duty to serve the people, and that a president couldn't wait on consensus when justice was on the line. In 1966, I expanded the Great Society, not just in name, but in policy. We strengthened education through initiatives like the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. We pushed forward Medicare and Medicaid, delivering care to those long ignored. And we poured funds into housing, transportation, rural development, and the arts, because I believed a great society ought to nourish both body and soul. That year, we also created the Department of Transportation, because we knew modern America had to move fast, efficient, and safe. And the Model Cities program was launched, aimed at transforming the worst conditions in our urban cores into livable communities. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I never aimed small. Now I won't pretend it was perfect. The weight of Vietnam divided us. Some called me a reformer, others called me a warmonger. Some believed in the vision, others feared the change, but I never doubted that we had to keep moving. Progress never came by standing still. I governed through persuasion, but also through action. I leaned on legislation when I had the votes, and when I didn't, I used the tools of the presidency, loudly, forcefully, and often. That included the executive order. And speaking of that, in just a moment, we're going to take a close look at the executive orders I signed in 1966, because behind every one of them was a purpose, a problem that needed solving, or a principle that needed protecting. So buckle up, folks. We're about to dive deep into the blueprint of how a president builds a vision, one signature at a time. Executive Order 11,265, amending Executive Order, number 10,448, establishing the National Defense Service Medal on January 11, 1966. Executive Order 11,266, amending the Selective Service Regulations on January 18, 1966. Executive Order 11,267, relating to the implementation of the Treaty of Friendship and General Relations between the United States and Spain on January 19, 1966. Executive Order 11,268, placing an additional position in Level 5 of the Federal Executive Salary Schedule on January 20, 1966. Executive Order 11,269, National Advisory Council on International Monetary and Financial Policies on February 14, 1966. Executive Order 11,270, suspension of Section 5232B of Title 10, United States Code, which relates to the number of lieutenant generals in the Marine Corps on February 19, 1966. Executive Order 11,271, Fleet Admiral Chester E. Nimitz on February 21, 1966. Executive Order 11,272, to accept employees of the Postal Field Service from certain provisions of Executive Order Number 10,358 as amended by Executive Order Number 11,226 relating to the observance of holidays by government agencies on February 23, 1966. Executive Order 11,273, placing an additional position in Level 5 of the Federal Executive Salary Schedule on March 22, 1966. Executive Order 11,274, providing that certain officers may act as Secretary of Housing and Urban Development on March 30, 1966. Executive Order 11,275, amending Executive Order Number 11,230, delegating certain functions of the President to the Director of the Bureau of the Budget on March 31, 1966. Executive Order 11,276, creating an emergency board to investigate disputes between the carriers represented by the 5 Carriers Negotiating Committee and certain of their employees on April 21, 1966. Executive Order 11,277, designating the International Telecommunications Satellite Consortium as an international organization entitled to enjoy certain privileges, exemptions, and immunities on April 30, 1966. Executive Order 11,278, establishing a President's Council and a Committee on Recreation and Natural Beauty on May 4, 1966. Executive Order 11,279, establishing the President's Committee on Health Manpower and the National Advisory Commission on Health Manpower on May 7, 1966. Executive Order 11,280, establishing the President's Committee on Mental Retardation on May 11, 1966. Executive Order 11,281, transferring jurisdiction over certain blocked assets from the Attorney General to the Secretary of the Treasury on May 13, 1966. Executive Order 11,282, prevention, control, and abatement of air pollution by federal activities on May 26, 1966. Executive Order 11,283, designating the International Cotton Institute as a public international organization entitled to enjoy certain privileges, exemptions, and immunities on May 27, 1966. Executive Order 11,284, suspension of the provisions of Sections 5701A1 and 6371 of Title 10, United States Code, which relate to the continuation on the active list of rear admirals in the line of the Navy not restricted in the performance of duty on May 27, 1966. Executive Order 11,285, designation of certain foreign countries as economically less developed countries for purposes of the interest equalization tax on June 10, 1966. Executive Order 11,286, designating the Department of Commerce as the department through which the United States shall participate in the Inter-American Cultural and Trade Center in Dade County, Florida, on June 10, award and presentation of the National Medal of Science on June 28, 1966. Executive Order 11,288, prevention, control, and abatement of water pollution by federal activities on July 2, 1966. Executive Order 11,289, National Advisory Commission
on selective service on July 2nd, 1966. Executive Order 11,290, amending Executive Order number 11,230, delegating certain functions of the President to the Director of the Bureau of the Budget on July 21st, 1966.
Executive Order 11,291, creating an emergency board to investigate a dispute between the American Airlines, Inc. and certain of its employees on July 27, 1966. Executive Order 11,292, amending Executive Order number 11,157 as it relates to incentive pay for hazardous duty and special pay for sea duty at certain places on August 1st, 1966. Executive Order 11293, placing an additional position in Level 5 of the Federal Executive Salary Schedule on August 3rd, 1966. Executive Order 11,294, delegating certain authority of the President to establish maximum per diem rates for government civilian personnel in travel status on August 4th, 1966. Executive Order 11295, rules governing the granting, issuing, and verifying of United States passports on August 5, 1966. Executive Order 11,296, evaluation of flood hazard in locating federally owned or financed buildings, roads, and other facilities, and in disposing of federal lands and properties on August 10, 1966. Executive Order 11,297, coordinates of federal urban programs on August 11, 1966. Executive Order 11,298, prescribing the interest rate for deposit of savings of members of the uniformed services on August 14, 1966. Executive Order 11,299, placing an additional position in Level 5 of the Federal Executive Salary Schedule on August 15, 1966. Executive Order 11,300, relating to the implementation of the Convention between the United States and Greece on August 17, 1966. Executive Order 11,301, establishing the President's Committee on Libraries and the National Advisory Commission on Libraries on September 2, 1966. Executive Order 11,302, prescribing regulations governing the allowance of travel expenses of claimants and beneficiaries of the Veterans Administration and their attendance on September 6, 1966. Executive Order 11,303, modifying Executive Order number 9721 as amended by Executive Order number 10,103, providing for the transfer of personnel to certain international organizations on September 12, 1966. Executive Order 11,304, amending Executive Order number 11,175, relating to the exclusion for original or new Canadian issues where required for international monetary stability on September 12, 1966. Executive Order 11,305, authorizing the Secretary of Army and the Governor of the Canal Zone, respectively, to perform certain functions relating to the Panama Canal and the Canal Zone on September 12, 1966. Executive Order 11,306, establishing the President's Committee on Rural Poverty and the National Advisory Commission on Rural Poverty on September 27, 1966. Executive Order 11,307, coordination of federal programs affecting agricultural and rural area development on September 30, 1966. Executive Order 11,308, creating an emergency board to investigate a dispute between the Pan American World Airways, Inc. and certain of its employees on September 30th, 1966. Executive Order 11,309, amending Executive Order Number 11,215, relating to the President's Commission on the Patent System on October 6, 1966. Executive Order 11,310, assigning emergency preparedness functions to the Attorney General on October 11, 1966. Executive Order 11,311, carrying out provisions of the Beirut Agreement of 1948 relating to audiovisual materials on October 14, 1966. Executive Order 11,312, designating the Secretary of State to perform functions relating to certain objects of cultural significance imported into the United States for temporary display or exhibition on October 14, 1966. Executive Order 11,313, providing that certain officers may act as Postmaster General on October 15, 1966. Executive Order 11,314, creating a board of inquiry to report on certain labor disputes affecting the military jet engine industry, military aircraft industry, military armament industry, and military electronics industry of the United States on October 17, 1966. Executive Order 11,315, amending the Civil Service rules to authorize an executive assignment system for positions in grades 16, 17, and 18 of the General Schedule on November 17, 1966. Executive Order 11,316, placing an additional position in Level 5 of the Federal Executive Salary Schedule on November 28, 1966. Executive Order 11,317, amending paragraph 127C of the Manual for Courts Martial, United States, 1951 on December 3, 1966. Executive Order 11,318, designating the European Space Research Organization as a public international organization entitled to enjoy privileges, exemptions, and immunities on December 5, 1966. Executive Order 11,319, amending Executive Order Number 10,707, establishing a seal for the United States Coast Guard on December 9, 1966. Executive Order 11,320, delegating authority to prescribe rules and regulations relating to foreign gifts and decorations on December 12, 1966. Executive Order 11,321, creating a board of inquiry to report on a labor dispute affecting the military aircraft engine industry of the United States on December 19, 1966.
Pizza, where we deliver happiness one slice at a time. What's your craving today?
Yeah, hi. Is Seymour there?
Oh, Seymour. I think he might be busy making our special pies. But hey, why not swing by the pizzeria? We've got a pie with your name on it. Anything else I can help you with?
I was looking for Seymour Butts.
I see. Well, if you're looking for Seymour Butts, he might be hiding behind a pepperoni slice. Anything else I can do for you today?
No, that's it.
Hi, I'm Terrence, a marketing professional with a passion for helping your business grow smarter and faster. Here at Da Bomb Digital Media, based right here in Atlanta, Georgia, we specialize in bringing your vision to life. Whether you're launching your first website or reimagining your entire digital presence, we've got you covered. From modern website design and search engine optimization to setting up your own AI-powered agency tools, we deliver innovative solutions that keep you ahead of the curve. Ready to unlock your business's full potential? Let's build something remarkable together. For more information, visit our YouTube channel. Just search Da Bomb Digital Media on YouTube and start exploring tips, success stories, and everything you need to elevate your brand.
66.
My fellow Americans, tonight, I want to take you back to a year of turbulence, tenacity, and tremendous transition, 1966. It was a year when President Lyndon B. Johnson was pressing forward on his vision of a great society. Even as the war in Vietnam intensified, civil unrest grew at home, and the world spun with uncertainty. Johnson understood the weight of his office, and while Congress passed laws, he moved mountains through executive orders, direct actions that reshaped how our government functioned, how our people were served, and how the world saw American leadership. In 1966, Johnson issued dozens of executive orders, each a reflection of his governing philosophy. Use the power of the presidency to uplift the common American, strengthen the machinery of the state, and promote order in a world spiraling in complexity. Some of those orders addressed urgent needs. Others laid the foundation for systems we still rely on today. Let me walk you through 10 of the most impactful executive orders signed that year. First, Executive Order 11,295 rewrote the passport system, defining who gets one, how, and under what terms. It strengthened national security while expanding access to travel for ordinary Americans. That order remains the cornerstone of modern passport policy. Second, Executive Order 11,288 addressed water pollution by federal activities. At a time when clean water wasn't a guarantee, this order pushed federal agencies to take responsibility for the environment. It paved the way for the Clean Water Act and the EPA. Third, Executive Order 11,282 did the same for air pollution. It recognized that smog wasn't just a nuisance, it was a threat. Johnson made it clear, if the government was going to lead, it had to go green too. Fourth, Executive Order 11,315 created the Executive Assignment System in the civil service. That's federal HR speak for building a smarter, more mobile workforce, allowing top talent to move where they're most needed. We still benefit from that flexibility today. Fifth, Executive Order 11,321 addressed a critical labor dispute in the military aircraft engine industry, convening a board of inquiry to avoid disruption in national defense. Johnson knew when to act and how to intervene. Sixth, Executive Order 11,318 gave the European Space Research Organization international status and immunities. In the middle of the Cold War and the space race, this signaled trust, cooperation, and science without borders. Seventh, Executive Order 11,306 established the President's Committee on Rural Poverty, a bold move to study and address inequalities in forgotten corners of our country. That committee's insights shaped future anti-poverty programs and rural development strategies. Eighth, Executive Order 11,287 reformed how we awarded the National Medal of Science. That may seem ceremonial, but rewarding innovation and research inspires generations to reach further, and that spirit fuels our technology, our medicine, and our future. Ninth, Executive Order 11,277 recognized Intelsat, a satellite consortium, as an international organization. This helped launch a global communications infrastructure. Think about that the next time your phone connects to a satellite in orbit. 10th, Executive Order 11,301 created the President's Committee on Libraries. Johnson knew that education didn't stop in the classroom. Libraries were the cornerstone of lifelong learning, and this order sought to expand their reach and impact. Now let's zoom out. What else happened in 1966? Here at home, the country was fracturing and reforming at once. The Vietnam War escalated with over 6,000 American troops lost that year alone. Protests grew louder, the draft expanded, and the White House faced more criticism than ever before. But in the midst of chaos, progress marched forward. Medicare and Medicaid began full operation, delivering health care to millions. The Department of Transportation was created. The Freedom of Information Act was signed, opening government to its people like never before. Culturally, Star Trek aired its first episode. The Black Panther Party was founded. The civil rights movement deepened. It was a year of questions, rebellions, and breakthroughs. Around the world, tragedy and transformation unfolded. China's Cultural Revolution began. Indira Gandhi became Prime Minister of India. The first artificial heart pump was implanted. And in a move of global solidarity, countries began talking seriously about nuclear nonproliferation. Johnson's presidency in 1966 was not one of quiet comfort. It was one of fierce responsibility. He governed with boldness. He pushed federal programs to go further, work smarter, and care deeper. Through executive orders, he built new agencies, empowered the poor, and modernized America's global posture. Were all his decisions right? Number. Vietnam casts a long shadow. But his executive orders reveal a man who believed government had a job to do, and he refused to sit idle. And many of those orders on pollution, science, poverty, administration, they're still shaping how we live and govern today. So as we look back on 1966, we don't just remember a year in conflict, we remember a presidency in motion. Let's learn from it. Let's govern with that same urgency. And let's always remember, the tools of justice are only as strong as the hands that wield them. Thank you.
Some write history with blood, some with laws, but the sharpest stroke comes from the pen. Executive power ain't just a tool, it's a weapon wielded by the few, affecting the many. They sign it, we live it. They order it, we obey it. Here, watching, digging, remembering, from the plantation to the proclamation, from internment camps to civil rights stands, from surveillance laws to student loan draws. Reporter can change your life, and you might not even know it, but now you do. So stay locked in, stay woke, stay sharp. We ain't just talking about power, we tracking it. Executive Order Watch, and we ain't blinking.